Oh my.
Hello guys, it's St Leslie, live at the Gers TV. I will be on the show in a wee minute's time, but we have just now...
Joanne.
I was going to say hello to Gordon and Si, but you spoiled my joke, Si, so thanks very much. As you know, I'm Gordon. Good to see you. Simon is just doing a couple of technical things behind the scenes, so myself and Joanne will take you through the first few minutes of the show. What we're going to do is, obviously, we've got a lot to cover tonight, so we'll briefly talk about the Aberdeen game, which was good temporarily to get a win and score some goals. We will then cover, I think there was a Champions League game during the week,
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Unfortunately. Wasn't the way it wanted us to go.
And we'll look forward, and I use that in inverted commas, that phrase, we'll look forward to the game on Sunday against St Johnstone away. So first off, welcome back to Joanne. Joanne, do you want to tell everyone what you do if they don't know already?
So the bar manager in the famous bar, Oswald's.
Hold on a minute, Brian's just texted to say you're sacked.
Joanne used to be a bar manager.
Retiring. You're only Glasgow. You're only Rangers pub in the city centre.
Yep, and I can vouch for the authenticity of how great a pub it is. It's a fantastic pub on Oswald Street. Yeah, that's why, fun enough, it's called Oswald's.
And also
if you're lucky enough to be in there when Joanne's in there, then all the better. Okay, so if you can, please get yourselves down any day of the week, match days, before the match, after the match, to Oswald's bar. And Oswald's had a brilliant Halloween party on Friday, is that right?
Yes, very, very successful.
How did it go?
Very well. Lots of fancy dress. And we chose the winner as Mr. Blobby.
Aye. Don't tell me Simon again.
Not this
Every
time.
year he wins.
Not this time. And then on Saturday was match day, so that was another crazy busy day. And then Sunday we had a Halloween party for the kids. And Broxy came along, safe to say. It was filled within the first 15 minutes. So
Nice.
Screaming, dressed up kids everywhere. But it was a great success.
Brilliant. So, Mark Dunnett, how you doing? Oswald's bar is the best in Glasgow. You've just had confirmation there from
Hello, Mark.
a neutral source. Joanne's just messaged me, whispered in and said, you're barred for the puggy. So, we'll just, what we'll do is we'll start talking about the Aberdeen game. And
Just before that, if everybody can like and share.
Yep, sorry guys, if you, voice from the side there, if you can like and share for us, that'd be great. You're the old saying, tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10, and we're all laughing. So, let's talk about the game on Saturday, first of all, against Aberdeen. We will obviously come to the Champions League in a minute, but we are back to league business.
I'm talk about Champions League first and get that done because that's a finish now.
The game isn't Saturday. It's chronological order. Right, okay, we'll talk about we'll talk about the Champions League first. I've been overruled.
No, I said to you in the morning, we're not talking about because the Champions League now it's finished now, so we'll real quick.
We'll cover the Champions.
Not
Okay,
much to discuss.
aye. There's not much to discuss. Let's cover the Champions League, guys, and then we can go back to the league business and we can talk about the last league game and the next league game. So yeah, good idea. Okay, so our European adventure came to an end.
Oh, it was...
I think personally everybody's happy that we're out now because the last, and I'm going to say happy because of the good performances, it was becoming a chore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not Champions League material. We're playing with
Well,
get no players, you know. So
yeah. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. I didn't think it helped when the Champions League draw was made and Gio basically said we weren't good enough.
it was a dampener from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, if it was me personally, I would say it's a really, really tough draw, but we've got some great games to look ahead to. So it'll be a great experience, and we'll do our best to play the best we can and be competitive as best we can. I wouldn't turn around and say, well, we're crap.
Nah, that's a no-go from the start.
Yeah. Then
demotivating as well.
It doesn't say much. I mean, this is a team that got to the Europa League final, okay? And we beat out some great teams. We beat out Dortmund and Leipzig, who both qualified for the next round. You know, Gio made a big point in almost every game saying about the financial gulf, but he doesn't then go out the weekdays and say, well, we've got a budget 20 times at Livingston, so we'll beat them 5-0. You know, so doesn't help that we had almost a full first team out injured as well.
It was difficult, and it was hard to watch, but at the same time we didn't have the players to play. So
yeah,
I mean, okay, a lot of people are saying Gio's to blame, but he's done it. He's done what he could. What else would you do if you've got all these players that are injured? You know, it's
the problem you've got as a manager is that you're the face. You're the face. You're either the face of success or the face of failure. You're the one that's got to carry the can, and you're the one that's got to go out in front of the cameras.
Take the stick for it.
Take the stick for it and take the praise.
It's a difficult job.
Yeah, we're always honest in this show. When we played well, we got to the Europa League final. I was one of Gio's biggest fans. I think he did amazing. However, you can't praise and not criticise. You can't criticise and not praise, I feel. So disappointing campaign. However, from a financial point of view, it's good for the club, but it's you've got to call a spade and say we could have done much better. I don't think we gave our account. I don't think we covered ourselves in glory.
No.
Right, I'll be on that in a couple of seconds, guys. I think another thing with the campaign, and again, we don't really want to talk about other clubs in Scotland, but I think Scottish football's been showing up that it's way behind in terms of competing in European football just now. No matter what happened last season, none of the teams look as if they were strong enough to get anywhere.
Well, yes and no. Like you can't. We put out some good teams last year on the road to Europa League final because we had motivation and we had a full, more or less a full team, apart from maybe Morelos towards the end of the run. But I think that I think by the end of the group, at the end of the round of fixtures, we just wanted to just absolutely to be over. It was watching the Napoli game and then watching the Ajax game. I think we were probably lucky to escape with maybe just losing by 6-1 in aggregate over the two games, which is.
I mean, Napoli, that was. Most people were expecting double figures for that. Yeah.
Right, guys, the gang's all here.
The gang is all here.
Right,
so
just when you mentioned the Napoli game, see, the thing I thought was the strangest about it all was Napoli's probably the best team, and I'd say they're the best team in their group, but they're probably the most unformed team in Europe just now, and that's who we fared against the best. For some reason, I mean, it wasn't great, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best performances, but at Ibrox for the first half hour, again, some of the things that you need to worry about is the missed chances. Morelos missed a great chance against Napoli. He's missed a great chance against what was the last one there?
Well,
the game of the weekend. He missed.
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. He's missing chances, but we're known for him. Our strikers have in Champions League. We maybe only get 4 or 5 chances, and we're missing them. Simple as that. So it wasn't going. It was never going to be.
Well,
great.
look back to the Napoli game at Ibrox where Morelos had that chance in the first minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that is. I mean, if you're looking at the game the other night there, I know Ajax are a better team than us, but if Morelos scores the goal, it's a Saturday misses. If he scores that goal, it looks like a closer game.
Oh,
but he misses it again.
It gives the players that belief, and I don't know if anyone's read or seen Borna Barrett's latest interview, where he basically just echoed the manager's sentiment, saying we weren't good enough. Now, this is the guy that's probably going to the World Cup with Croatia. Yeah. Would you imagine the Croatian manager coming out and saying, "Oh, we're just happy we got to the World Cup. We don't want to compete." Look at if you compare Rangers to teams like FC Copenhagen and Club Brugge, who I would say were probably a similar budget, etc. If you want to go down that road, Copenhagen drew with Man City. Copenhagen finished the Champions League with I know that yesterday they had 2 points anyway. Club Brugge were top of a group that had Atletico Madrid at one point. So, you can say that we can't compete, but FC Copenhagen had Seville, Dortmund, and Man City, and they got a few points.
Unfortunately, there seems to be that there's this trend with the club. But from the manager downwards, we're feeling sorry for ourselves.
Yeah, I've said week on week in this show, and I've said down the pub at Oswald's or wherever we are, WhatsApp groups, wherever, talk to friends, whenever. There's just a feeling of discontent, and there's just something missing at Rangers right now.
You can sense it as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the points that I've made in the last couple of weeks, but let's go into it. As far as Rangers in Europe this season has been in the Champions League, the teams in it have been far fitter than us, far quicker than us. They have been more pace, more stamina, and more fight. That's things that you might not be skillful as these teams, but that's things that I'm expecting Rangers to match them on, and especially fitness. 2 years ago, if you remember, Celtic supporters were doing a campaign saying that our players were superhuman fit. Do you remember that? And they were taking caffeine, drugs and all that. That's how fit we were 2 years ago. That's not been commented on anymore. And for the reason for that is our players do not look fit. Tavernier taking that penalty kick when he could hardly walk. It's incredible when you've hardly any defenders left and he's going to take a penalty that's essentially a meaningless penalty that could have injured himself. That's
I don't know. I mean, on Tuesday night it wasn't really a meaningless penalty because it brought it back to 2-1 and theoretically 2-1 with 5-10 minutes to go. You want to get back into the game and finish with a point. But you're totally right in your overall point side where I don't think any injured player should be on the park.
Yep.
Let alone.
Shouldn't be.
Lundstrom said he's been getting injections in that Paddy in a bad interview.
Yeah.
How many of them are playing through a pain barrier now?
I think.
Apart from the fans, there was a pain barrier for us.
We're watching. We're watching through the pain barrier.
Let's catch up with the comments first of all, right? Remember what I read them. I've not got the specs on.
Okay, so hello to Frank Barrett all the way from that's an Australian flag size.
Melbourne, he's Melbourne City.
Melbourne City.
He sent me a message about Twitter. Frank, I got that big message you sent me, but it's about 10 pages long, the bigot one. I'm going to read it later on. I don't know if it's suitable to put in the show because I didn't read what it was about, but I'll catch up with you later, mate.
And we're looking to do a live show over in Melbourne, by the way, Frank. If you want to set that up for us, that'd be great. Yes. David Hurd, good friend of the show, smiling faces. I listen. I think.
Don't.
I think you've got to smile about it. I don't think there's no point moping about and feeling sorry for ourselves. It's a lesson learned, and you've got to hope that we take it on the chin, and the experience we do, it sets us up for future. Hello, Ian Sinclair, the Arthur Newman loyal, good friend of the show.
Hi, Sarah.
Ian, hopefully you're running a bus to Blackpool next season as well. So let us know about that in the future if you are. Hi to Sarah as well. Hi to Alan Stewart. David Stewart, he was, I think somebody has corrected this in the future, but he was manager of Feyenoord rather than PSV. However, Gio won the league with Feyenoord, but I think at the season after he won the league, I believe he kind of slipped to kind of like mid-table-ish. And I don't particularly think that Ajax and PSV were particularly great 4 or 5 years ago when they won the league. However, I could be wrong with that, but he
here's
did
the
win
biggest
the
problem
league.
with Gio, right? He's a nice guy. Nobody on here, and no Rangers fan I've met, dislikes him as a person. Nobody wants to be criticising him and saying he wants to lose his job. We want a new manager. However, in my opinion, he's a dead man walking now, and it's a case if he loses any league games in the next. In the build up to this World Cup that we're anticipating happening, so we get our players back. If he loses or drops any points, I think he's sacked. That's a simple.
The World Cup is a blessing.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of limping towards the World Cup and have a 4 or 5 week rest and hopefully do something, because I don't think we've got that many players going to the World Cup. Kovac is in the provisional squad. I don't think he'll probably go to the World Cup. I think Barisic probably will. But I don't think a lot of our players are going to make the World Cup squads for their respective countries. So I think it's a chance for the team just to go away somewhere for a week or whatever, go to Spain or Middle East or wherever they want to go, and just
Here's a point I'm going to put.
Go to Blackpool for all I care. Just
right, I'm going to put a point to you, right?
Just go somewhere and have a rest.
I'm going to put a point to you here, and I hope I'm wrong, right? But we're hoping that the World Cup's going to be the best thing for us, right? But some of the injuries we're getting is we're in training.
Well,
that's what I'm
Could get
worried
injured
about.
in the World Cup as well, but couldn't you?
Yeah.
No, but what I mean is this training for 5 weeks. We're hoping that's going to get the players all fit.
Yeah.
I think that they'll probably have. I think that all the players that are going to the World, that are not going to the World Cup, will probably get a week off, and they'll recharge their batteries. And for me, it's just, do you know what? It's like it could be the best or the worst thing. We don't know. We're hoping that we're pretty much thinking it can't really get any worse at the moment.
Well, we need players back. The two things I'm thinking is during the break we need the players fit, and we need, if we're going to be buying players in January, we need to be looking at them anew. Hopefully we've got them lined up. Well, Steven Gerrard had 2 players for each position. That's something we need to think about for the future.
Yeah. We need to get. We've got. What worries me at the moment is that we have almost a full team of injured at the moment, and we've also got the same again out of contract at the end of this season. So, I mean, Davis and Arfield only signed 1 year contracts, I'm sure. Morelos and Kent are out of contract.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a few other players are out of contract as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. James Sands and Tillman are only on loan.
Yep.
Alright, so we've got that's six first team players that are out of contract or due back to their parent clubs unless we buy them. When in the form they're showing, probably wouldn't buy them. But that's like that. If you count up the injuries and the first team players that are out of contract this season, I'm sure Ryan Jack's out of contract as well, maybe.
I think he's running out. Aye. I mean,
Yeah,
the problem you've got, right,
yeah.
what you're saying, Gordon, is if you bring a new manager in, that's a hell of a job you're asking somebody as well. Because the first time the manager's going to be told is you need to win the league.
Well, what amazed me about Gio's comments, never mind the kind of negativity of the setting the expectations lower, he's basically come out and said we haven't made any money for the Champions League either.
Well, did any of you hear, I forgot about this, you've reminded me, did any of you hear TalkSport today?
No.
So I
No.
listened to Simon Jordan, I'm a
Too
big
busy
fan of him.
But I was too busy working as well, Si.
Too busy pouring
Well,
pints.
Simon Jordan, Jim White show is really good and I'm a big fan of Simon Jordan. And he was basically saying, to quote the old Monkey song, it's a little bit of you, it's a little bit me, that the Rangers fans are maybe thinking that it's 40 million and the Rangers board are saying there's no money, and he reckons when he's done it, he slowly went through the figures that Rangers getting to the Champions League earn something like £30 million.
Right, so yeah, but the thing
And he's a smart
it's
guy.
not.
So where's it going?
But it's not. So what I bear in mind is that it's not all paid at once. So what you'll do is you'll get. So remember that not only, but you get the ticket money. So as I worked it out today, or not today, but yesterday, because had a spare 5 minutes in my house, basically, right. I got on the old pocket calculator, you know. So we've had 180 quid was a three match package, yeah, really thereabouts.
Yeah.
Times what 45,000, say.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll let you work that out because I know you're good at maths in your head. Right.
I was going to say 9 million, but it probably
Right. Well,
wouldn't
let's just then you've got 2 qualifying rounds, and the average ticket price was probably
I stole
£35.
that quote from Simon Jordan, quoted that, but I said 9 million.
So 35 on a ticket times 50,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you've got your on the day merchandise and whatnot, corporate, etc. Then you've got the prize money for getting through each round. Then you've got the prize money for getting to the Champions League itself.
Yeah.
And then you get the TV revenue. Now, all the TV money isn't paid till the end of the season, so that's probably about half of it. But even still, that said, we've still made. We've still probably made. Rangers have probably seen about 15 million in the bank
Right,
in the
so,
last
so
month
then
or two.
you've got the players that left as well, Bassey and Aribo.
Yeah, Bassey, Aribo and I think we're still counting Patterson.
Patterson, we count Patterson.
So-
It's April, isn't it?
Yeah, so 20, 10 and 12, that's 42 million. Now, if we take some off that, for it's not all up front, and we just say, what I said 42, so we just say 35 million in transfer fees, that's what we're looking at, maybe 50 million, and then we're looking at all the Europa League money for last season as well, which a conservative estimate is 35 million. So,
According to TalkSport, they said that Rangers made, let me remember this, they made 7 million more getting into the Champions League than Rangers made getting to the final. So I think they said it was about 20 million.
right, so let's just say that's 20 million, so 35 million in player sales, 20 million Europa League. I personally think it's more than that, but I mean, are they counting the ticket sales and all that, or is that just TV money?
No, just for getting into the 2 tournaments, for getting to the
Right.
final and getting to the Champions League.
And some prize money, so you're not counting ticket revenue or anything like that.
And we're not
Right.
counting winning the games.
So
in the
let's
Champions
say,
League when we're winning.
let's just say overall for each 30 million each, right?
Right.
That's 60 million plus 30 million in transfer fees. So you're talking anywhere between 90 to 100 million we've made in the last 12 months.
There's obviously outgoings, but again,
Right. So there should be we've bought Kovac for what, a couple of million,
which was a good deal.
right? We probably maybe spent about 4 or 5 million on players,
Suter was free.
right? But there's
Free but injured.
aye.
He's no injury free.
So there's this black hole with money where, you know, are we operate are the player wages so high that we're spending £1 million a week more than we're getting in?
I think
don't
one,
think it's
one of
that
the
much,
things I'd heard
but-
today, and it's a good comment, Gordon, is the players that got us to the Europa Cup final would have been on high bonuses for getting that as well. But they wouldn't have been on milk like 20, 30 million pounds.
Someone made this point to me before. I can't remember if it was on this show last week, the week before, or in the pub or whatnot, or whatever it was. Yeah, but the bonus pot's only going to be about 10-20% of the overall revenue. We're not going to be if say we made 30 million for qualifying for the Champions League, Like, players aren't going to get £1 million each.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying that, but that
No, I
wouldn't
mean,
that
so-
wouldn't be that would have come off. The only thing I'll say with you that I would disagree with what you said, Gordon, was that, see regarding the 2 loan deals now, I know that a lot of people won't agree with what I'm going to say here, maybe controversial. I think that the young boy Tillman has become the scapegoat. There's always a player that the fans turn on, and I think he's getting a raw deal. That young lad, I would still go and get him at the end of the season. And we've all criticised Sands, but to be fair on Sands is a midfield player who's been asked to cover every other position in the park, more or less. He's been covering the other positions in defence. I don't think it's fair to judge him as a defender. And the last couple of weeks, especially against Aberdeen, I think when you see him in midfield, I think he's actually a good player.
I think you're right. I genuinely don't think he's done too bad at all at defence. But then, if we've not got that money, if what Gio and the board are really saying, to be honest, but if what Gio's saying,
Gio's hinting that there's no money
about no money, right? Do we then go and spend £4 million in James Sands where we could try and get another couple of players for £4 million?
It's a good point, right? And I'll let Joanne come in there as well. But I think they've already decided, as far as I know, that the rumour is it's ring fenced, that's it. That's why that money's already put aside.
For him alone.
No, for 2 of them, Sands and Tillman.
So you're talking about 9, 10, I think it's 4 for James Sands and 5 for Tillman, so you're talking maybe £9 million.
I'll probably be, I don't know, but probably 10 million.
And we probably paid money for the loan as well. We probably paid, no team's going to give a player for it. We've had Sands since last January, so no club's going to give us, a player for a year and a half for free. So you probably paid them £1 million for the loan.
There'll be something in the background of it.
So what do you think of the 2 of them? Keep any of them? I would keep the 2 of them. I don't think they're the problem.
If we had money to spend and we were
Tillman's had some good. It's hard. They've not had a chance really properly to
I would say
show their quality either. They're getting pulled in now because they're
Chopped and
needed.
changed.
Because they have to. There's nobody else, So now is their time to show. But then when the other players are injured, the ones that are injured are come back, are they going to just get pushed away again?
I think what you're I can't disagree with a single word in that sentence, those sentences there. But I think with Tillman, what you're paying for the potential.
Yeah.
Because you're not
Yep,
you're paying for the potential, and you maybe get 2 or 3 seasons. But is it going to be a case where he does a Ryan Kent and he has a good season and a half, and then come at the end of his contract he fades away and we're losing for nothing?
Well, that's something that the coaches should be getting the best out of the players, but also with Ryan Kent, we should have the deal sewn up by now. If he's Steiner's gone, whatever, maybe they haven't, maybe he's just gone, that's it. But it's even that problem with Morelos, so they were in contract talks now or no. So sometimes it's not the player's fault as well. It's the player's fault, but you don't know if there's that off the park disagreements, or if there's things that are putting. There's too many players getting injured too often, and there's too many players having downers. And is that because of the manager? Is it because they feel the board's let them down?
Well, no, I think if you're a player, and I say if you're a player playing for Rangers, you probably don't want us to go out and buy players because you'll lose your place in the team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So the players, but I don't know. I just think that there's not that level of excitement at Rangers. I mean, we're only a couple of points behind in the league. We've only lost 1 league game this season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about getting the Champions League out of the way, because if you look at the league campaign, and I don't want to be sounding like one of these happy clappy guys, because I don't think it's going great just now.
It's just off air, you're happy clapping.
It's a bit. I think now we can concentrate, and I've never said this before ever, because I always think you should go for the treble. But right now, I would just say Rangers should be concentrating the league and nothing else, and we need to establish ourselves league champions again. And to do that, they need to get the finger out quickly. Here's a quick concern for you. We don't really have a leader on the park, right? The only leader I would say that we've got is Alan McGregor. He's 40-year-old, and he thought he was retiring last year.
Well, that's another one that's out of contract as well.
Yep.
So we need to get a goalkeeper, and I also feel we need to get a proper captain.
Is Kamara out of contract as well? Is that why we try to settle in the close season to Nice?
There'll probably be a list of them out there somewhere. There's a list of injuries.
It's worrying about
It's worrying what's happening behind
and
the
then
scenes.
injuries, you just don't know.
I mean,
We need to play the B team
I
soon.
think everybody would agree that Ross Wilson's picked the players that they buy.
Just in the last note, maybe the Champions League, what you said there, Joanna, is if you look at a team like Shakhtar Donetsk, right, their country's at war, right. They lost an entire team. They're literally playing academy players, and they were at a minute away from beating Real Madrid.
Well, also in that, listening to TalkSport, you might not know this, because I didn't know this. They were playing a game last week, and in the middle of the game they get the whole 2 teams
siren.
were told to go down to a shelter.
Yeah, I seen that as well.
So there were actually a bomb took place. So you can't feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah, you've got to have a little bit of perspective, you know. But they're going out and they're drawing Real Madrid and they're coming to Glasgow and getting a point at Parkhead and whatnot. So, and I think did they win it? Did they win at home to Celtic? I can't remember.
They drew 1-each, I'm sure.
Right.
But the point you're making is right, aye, because what they done is they applied effort where they didn't have the skill.
Yeah, and pride, and they were playing to show the world that, you know, they can't be put down.
Yep.
So I think will we move back to the league then?
Aye, before that, just a shout out to our sponsors, Maxwell, who supply all your petrol needs all over Northern Ireland and all your utilities as well. If you're in Northern Ireland and you want petrol, Maxwell are at the heart of it.
Yeah, I think Talk Sport sponsoring as well. No, we're also sponsored by the Gym Light and Simon Jordan show.
No, listen, if you've got a good source you want to
No, I'm kidding on.
100%.
Just for any corporate people out there, or any lawyers watching it, we're not actually sponsored by Talk Sport.
No, but we have got an alcohol brand going to sponsor us soon, but I won't mention who, but
Aye.
he sits in a big white horse. Right. We're streaming live on Facebook group page, we're on the group and the channel page. We've got the YouTube streaming, we've got the Facebook streaming, so we're all over, and Twitter, we're all over the internet live tonight, guys.
Yep.
There's loads of comments, so I'll let you read them out first and then we'll go.
Do you want to scroll down and then we'll finish off the comments about the Champions League and then we move on to the league.
I'll do the dinner, we'll do the dinner and then we'll do the league.
Okay, so Stephen McCormack, Gio's comments after the game weren't good. He'll be sacked after one game, rumour board of a shortlist to replace him. I want to finish this point off by saying I don't think we can afford to sack him, but
I think if anything it'll be after Christmas there'll be changes.
Yeah.
They're not just going to do it straight away, you know.
Right, just to clear something up, right, because I think we know this, but a lot of people might not know this, right. See the thing with Beale being at Ibrox at the weekend, that was organised months ago.
yeah.
I think some fans think he just went to the Loudon because he liked to strap up Raven and he just wanted to go for a sash bash.
Startle
Darryl Praven. Oh.
I can't pronounce it either.
Correct.
I just see that one.
Do you know what? I actually think I'm allergic to that because every time I drink it, I always wake up with a sore head the next day.
Oh, no.
It's because it's wrong.
I've had to stop it because of the texts. Anybody gets mad texts and you'll know who somebody watching the videos. That's when I drink that Starryl Praven. But
There you go, eh? The key to size heart. Buy one of them.
Startle Praven.
Aye,
Stop showing off.
But back to Beale. Beale didn't. These trips are organised months in advance.
Just a coincidence, I think, the way it's all fallen into
And
place.
I honestly don't think Michael Beale as well is the kind of guy that would turn up in the Rangers board to get somebody's job and put pressure like that. I don't think that's his character.
No, and he's doing well at QPR. And plus, to be honest, I don't think if we haven't got a lot of money to throw around, then I can't see us paying millions to pay off Gio and the boat and the backroom, as well as bring in Beale and his backroom staff. So
There's another comment there.
if we don't win, Gio has to go. It's great to go into the Champions League, but no, he's been away the same way our neighbours. Okay, so there's different styles of play. Gio's obviously a bit more passive, a bit more defensive. The other side of the city, they like to attack and go for it, but at the end of the day, we both lost a lot of goals. So, which way is the best way to go?
It's a very hard group. Like.
Yeah, I mean, everyone obviously the headline is the worst ever team in the Champions League. But if you look at the group we've had, then without making excuses for the way we've played, Napoli, Liverpool, Ajax as a very, very hard group.
Possibly. I think Napoli and Liverpool will get to the semis at least. Yeah. Honestly, I really rate the two teams. I think you just need to take. We got an absolute hammer in the Champions League. It wasn't good enough, but we need to move on for that now.
We still got there.
It's going to be a learning curve now because it's gone. It's finished.
See. I mean, it's a learning curve, and it is good, financially for the club. And that game against PSV, where we were scored, was it Golson that scored over there? That feeling of excitement, that feeling, that passion when we scored, and at full time we were all celebrating. So
it's unreal.
Yeah. So it wasn't great, but move on back to league.
Sarah's asking where Lily is tonight. Lily's here.
Right here.
In case you think I'm stroking Joanne's leg, it's a dog. Joanne's the one being the grunt and the farting there enough.
That's what happens you go for a curry before the show.
Hi Si and all the best. Andrew Bartley at the Gers TV. How you doing, mate? John Keelan. Hi Simon. Use what you need, I'm specky. I'm not got the glasses on.
So Jamie McComb, I refuse to believe the players came that bad after a few months to be in the Europa final. Yeah, we made that point.
Sadly, it seems to be the case. Alfie done.
Yeah.
Alfie's done. Hope we wrap up that contract offer.
I don't even know if there is a contract offer anymore because remember he got sent off and they said it had been cancelled.
He's getting. He's not the same.
See if you are Morelos and Kent, and your other teams watched him. I mean, do you think that the way they're playing at the moment, Morelos and Kent could get a move to a better club than Rangers?
Would they play better if they went?
Morelos has got two major problems. If he wants a new deal with a new club. One, his weight. He's still not fit enough. He's got to get that. And his attitude. He still looks as if he's got this thing. We ran on the park on Thursday night, and the first thing he done was shove the player before the ball kick.
I've seen that. Yeah. Well, there's a few
man.
comments about that.
Needs to stop. Like if he wants to.
Yeah. Couldn't agree
It's
more.
just the way it is.
Well, that's right. They've tried to calm him down for about 3-4 years now. He's not going to stop.
That's just him.
Andrew Bartley said a brilliant point there about what Borner said. Yeah, it was just a point I was making that it's just right now it's just an echo chamber for the easing the expectations and saying that we're very very poor. But he's a Croatian international, probably going to the World Cup. He should be competing against Napoli wingers and Ajax wingers because he's that quality.
I still see he was a better player than the bandage, and he said. I'll stick it back on him just to...
That was Tado Pirzo you're thinking about?
No.
I know we're both Croatian, both with the bandage.
No, he had the bandage. When he first came to Rangers, he had the bandage. See the point everybody's making about Morelos as well? See when Morelos misbehaved and he was the top goal scorer and he was playing great, you get away with that.
Yeah.
See when you're a sub, you don't get the same... The Rangers fans love Kolak now. And there's a new kid in town, so Morelos has to fight to get back in that place.
Never mind bandages, I wish I had eye patches to block out the game sometimes, but never mind. Morelos looks far from the player that he was. You said Wallace, players don't look bonded and that's no passion.
I thought she was talking about bondage.
I thought you were talking about my second name. James Wilson can ask our questions to side who will win the league. We're going to go and talk about the league in a minute, okay, so we're just going to get through some of these comments, okay.
Sue and Gordon's that sign? Gordon's that...
Sue and Gordon, we were 4 men down in that squad before we kick a ball. Morelos unfit before the season starts. Kent working his ticket. Davis and Arfield's not fit. Listen, Davis Stewart, you can't really say that Davis and Arfield aren't fit for the role of a midfielder because they're both excellent players, but they're tired and they're getting used. They were supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be squad players this season, but they're playing every game.
I think there's two arguments here, though, Gordon. See regarding the Champions League. We were outrun, and our midfield was outrun. Stephen Davis is a great player, but there's no way Stephen Davis at his age, 40-year-old now, is he? He cannot keep up with players. All these teams that we played, Napoli, Ajax, Liverpool, their midfield had loads of talent, but the midfield had loads of pace.
Yep.
And we've got older players, and I agree. To be expecting Davis to be able to zoot at this time, Lily, for Davis to be expected, he should be coming on with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah,
to settle games for us.
Yeah.
So he's got a good point.
Yeah, so you bring on somebody like Davis, but as you say, just to see out the game and just make those passes. I think there's more than Tav that's carrying an injury. Yeah, I think we all agree with that.
I'm laughing at Stephen Gordon.
You just wonder how many.
So some of us had to watch the away games hiding behind the couch, like we used to do when your mum was hiding from the rent man. I'm laughing at Stevie because it was the rent man, then it was the Provi. Remember the Providence check? Don't use be too young to remember this. Providence check used to be if your man that was skint, everybody in Glasgow got one, and it was like 10 times the price to pay it back. So as soon as you got the money, you were told don't answer the door, the Provi man's there. Everybody had to hide.
Be careful you pronounce that word as well.
I know. I think there's more than Tav that's carrying an injury. We're just about this because we're catching up. Should have said Sai, sorry.
David Hare, Napoli, Liverpool are Champions League contenders. We couldn't agree more. Ajax lost 15-4 in aggregate to those teams. They are not top level. Yeah, that's a great point. I think that we should have competed against Ajax, and we should have been aiming for that. You never want to say failure in that, but we should have been aiming for that third place. And we went to Ajax. Remember, me and my mate Jason watched the game at Oswald's, actually, the Ajax game. And we didn't show up. Like it was.
I genuinely think that our players were beaten in the tunnel before the game, and that's what Rangers supporters are upset at. There was no fight, no passion, and that comes from the management.
Yeah.
And the manager, to be fair, as I said, I've liked the manager as a person. He was a great football player with Rangers, but the manager doesn't inspire me whatsoever. So I don't know how we can inspire players.
Jim Ward said nice to see. Jim Ward said nice to see a bit of talent on the
forum.
Jim.
Thanks
very much, Jim.
No surrender, boys. Duncan Allen Wiggins.
I think he's just tagging somebody else. Either
that,
it's a riddle.
I know the treble's still on, but my point I was making earlier on was I'd make the priority of the league, no matter what, because it's just been a hard couple of weeks.
Yeah, Ian Sinclair on the bus, don't be late. Yeah. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Put us down on the list,
Sounds
aye.
good. Aye,
Good. Sounds
put me
good to
down
me.
too.
Ian, Joanne might come as well. She's loaded. She'll pay for the. She'll pay for the. She'll pay for the whole bus.
James Wilson saying he's American and we should boycott the World Cup on human rights. Many people died making the buildings. I agree that it's not the best, but I've not been watching it. I'll probably watch some of the games, but there's not really much that Gers TV to boycott it. But Scotland's not in it. Northern Ireland's not in it. I don't even know if
Wales and England are in it.
So
Si's got to sting with the pulse of world football.
I'm just wondering about how we
I don't
boycott
watch.
it. I'm just wondering how we boycott that sort of thing.
You won't be saying that when you put the adverts up for your pub saying come and watch your fantastic game, World Cup finals.
Get your Colin Steins.
You support of football.
So a lot of people are just repeating what we're saying here.
Aye, so we'll move on. So, well, if you haven't read out your comments, apologies. We're going to move on and go back to the league, okay?
I'll quickly get off for the dinner if you want.
Before we do that, guys, we are hosting, obviously, this is the 150th anniversary of our great club. So we might have had a temporary setback in the Champions League, but we're still Rangers fans, and this is still our 150th year. So Gers TV are hosting a fantastic night at Ibrox a week on Friday, the 11th, and we've got some fantastic guests. We've got the iconic Marvin Andrews, who is one of these guys that you just, you
love. Always love.
Yeah.
Cheers you up.
And if you have him on Twitter as well, like he's so inspirational as well.
Singing.
Like he's singing and
He'll get up and
singing
sing a
his songs.
song.
Yep. So we've also got some fantastic speakers. David Herd, a good friend of the show that we do our Spotify show with. He'll give us a presentation on the history of Rangers. As I think they're going to concentrate on the League Cup, which is Rangers Trophy. And we've also got a couple other guests as well. Si, who else have we got, just to bring you back into it?
Tom Purdy's a Rangers historian.
Tom Purdy.
Tom Purdy's going to be speaking about Rangers after the war, because the war finished that night so many years ago, and he's going to give us a kind of slideshow regarding that. Also we've got Jim Denny, who we just found out a couple of weeks ago. We've done an interview. I've started to play. I'll get it up this week. Played in every position
For Rangers,
from
Played goalkeeper.
Yeah, right through every position.
Every position, and he won a lot of medals, and he was part of the Cup Winners' Cup squad as well. He's absolutely fantastic Rangers man, and
he was one of the first people in that we know of anyway in the world. He was doing football analysts. Well, like 20, 30 years before Sky was even.
Yeah, he's got such a knowledge of the game, and he's worked with clubs like Steaua Bucharest, Real Madrid, all over the world. So he'll be a speaker as well.
The trophy room.
We've also got, once you get entry to the Ibrox, you go up the fabled marble staircase, get your photograph taken there with the legends of the club. Then we've got the trophy room as well, so you can have a tour of the trophy room.
Yeah, and we've now got pitch side access as well, so you can get into the dugouts.
And Rangers are giving the Gers TV exclusive pitch side access as well, so you can get your picture taken in the dugout.
And walk down that tunnel.
Walk down the famous tunnel as well, so it's going to be an absolutely fantastic night. Now, for nights like this, you're usually talking anywhere between £70 and £100. How much is it for a ticket, Si?
£45.
£45, guys. So for £45 you'll get a meal as well. You'll get to meet iconic figures at Rangers like Marvin Andrews and Jim Denny. You'll get some fantastic speakers like Tom Purdy and David Herd. You'll also get, as I say, a meal. You'll get up the marble staircase. The suites will be open from 6 p.m. for a drink, and you'll also be able to get a tour of the trophy room, as I've said, and your picture taken in the dugout as well.
2 other points, the bar's now open to 1 o'clock as well, so you're in for 7 hours on the swamp.
So, guys, imagine if somebody said to you can have 7 hours at Ibrox, having a pint, and getting up the marble staircase, trophy room, a meal, meeting some iconic Rangers players, as well as supporting the Gers TV and our 150th year anniversary dinner.
With a DJ as well, some party tunes on, and getting to meet the Gers TV.
Yes.
And served by some lovely Ibrox staff.
Yes.
Now, is there something like 2 or 3? I think there's 3, possibly 2. I think there's 2 tables left.
Okay, so there's two tables left. Okay, now a table sits 10 people. Okay, and it's £45 for a ticket. However, if you buy at a table of 10, we'll give you the organiser for free as well. So there you go, a wee special offer for anybody watching tonight. You can get £45 off a table of 10. So instead of £150, it'll just be £400. So please get in touch with us if you want to get a ticket. Leave your comments on Facebook at the moment, and we will get back to you. Message us on our Facebook page or email thegerstv jimdennis@gmail.com.
Somebody's made a wee comment there about Jim Denny. I'm not going to read it out, but I'm just going to explain something. As I said, Jim Denny's one of the great characters of the game. He's a great storyteller. He wants to tell stories about the Barcelona season, 72, Colin Steen, Willie Johnson. He wants to talk about Willie Waddle, Job Wallace. He fully acknowledges he wasn't one of our best players. He acknowledges he was a fringe player. However, this man left Rangers Football Club and went on to work for Real Madrid years ahead of his time. So I think the guy deserves a wee bit of respect.
If you look at it, he's probably a modern day James Sands, but also played in attack as wing. That's how good he was. He also played. He was that good. He played 3 times in the wing.
And he's a regular Ibrox. He goes to every game.
He goes to every game as well, and I won't tell you where he stays. He stays not. He stays not far from me actually, but
He's a great character. So
great character, and
he's came every dinner that we've done and supported all our events. He's always talks about the Union Bears, the atmosphere, and how great it was to play alongside all those famous players.
Yeah, and he played in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup in '72, I believe, and he was in the squad for the final itself. So he was a Cup Winners' Cup winner, and he's got great stories to tell about the club and all the players that played in that era, like Derek Johnston, John Gregg, etc., etc. And he also tells some great stories about managers
if anybody's
like.
looking for a Christmas night out, it's ideal because just before Christmas, every event in Ibrox is now full. You'll not get back in Ibrox for that.
Yep.
The football season's finished at that point for the World Cup. You're going to be looking for time with your pals, and you'll be able to get a table together and have a wee jolly.
No, we've got some
Yeah.
in the Sunday.
And you can get a couple of beers in Oswald before it.
Yeah.
Oswald's open from 11 AM.
There you go, and unfortunately it's not open after the do. But if you wake up on the Saturday, you want a wee. If you wake up on the Saturday and you want to get yourself a little Borna Barisic cocktail and a breakfast.
Borna Barisic, nice.
So guys, give him as much support as you can. I know people are commenting about Jim. Jim's a good age now. I don't think he's a. I can't even pronounce.
Physiotherapist.
I know he was involved in all that stuff, David, and he was also analyst. He's been a football manager. He played with Rangers. He's got some great stories, and there's somebody, David, here correcting the stuff here. Jim Denny made his debut in a Scottish Cup final v Celtic in front of 100,000 people, and was a Rangers player for a decade. Looking forward to hearing him. He actually talks about that in the interview we've got. Because of the older days and the people on the politically correct, we've got to
edit some of the footage,
because he might say things that the woke generation might be upset about.
Yeah.
But what a character he is. So that's the dinner, guys.
Just a wee comment. Hi to Emlyn Friends Chris H. He put a comment up saying Gordon is a wee cutie. So thanks so much for that, Chris. I know it's probably one of your first times watching the show. It's somebody I work with, so thanks for watching.
Question: who's the fifth name in the Hall of Fame board? I didn't know till yesterday. Obviously, the first 4 are the founding fathers.
I've heard it's Simon Leslie.
Well, the Hall of Fame, it would have been, so they've done it, the first 4 would have been the Gaelic pioneers. I would have thought the fifth name would, I would assume the fifth name would have been, let me think here, they might have went for the founding fathers up to the present day.
Would it be the first chairman or the first manager, or?
Who do you think? I don't know. I've never really looked and seen it.
Well, I think it might be somebody. I think it might be a trick question. Maybe somebody modern, but
so they are.
I'm just going to go Bill Struth. There you go.
Joanne.
Oh, I don't know. It could be actually.
I'll tell you who I think it should be, and I don't think it's the answer. I think it should be Tom Valens. Aye, Stephen. I'll send you a wee message after the show, mate.
Of course you can, Stephen, and we'll give you a wee space for free as well. There you go, for watching the show tonight as well, so we'll get in touch with you after the show.
I've opened the call sheet as well. It's tricked me. William Winton, people are putting in, it's a wee quiz.
Andrew, do us a favour, don't tell us until the end of the show then, we'll put it out there to everyone watching and we'll get everyone's opinion. I'm going to say Bill Struth, although he said it tricked me, so it's probably...
somebody you're not going to expect at all.
So, very good question, Andrew.
William Wilton,
that's a good shout as well,
yeah. I said Tom Valens, that's who I said. Give us 10 seconds, it's going to come off the page for a second.
What about Waddle?
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. The Gers TV, hit it.
So that's the calls opened up now. If anybody wants to call us tonight, they can give us a call. Keep the guesses coming in. Who the answer is to that?
Great question, actually, Andrew. Thanks very much.
Maybe Waddle.
Yeah, I'm going Tom Valens. Who are you going? Name maybes, because you're going to do this. I was going to say
Waddle.
that. Molly Waddle.
Yep.
Right.
I want to, David Hale saying Tom Valens, so I want to change my answer to Tom Valens. I think David's
said
going to
Tom
be right.
Valens before David
I
Hale.
think David Hale's going to be absolutely right.
David Hale's
but
copied me.
No, so what I'm going to say is I want to stick with Bill Struth.
Now, David is a good friend of ours and he's speaking at dinner right now. David will back me up on this. This is Gordon, who stood drunkenly for an hour drunkenly across from the marble stairs right beside the Alan Morton portrait, which is something like 15 foot high, massive, one of the most famous things in Ibrox Stadium. And the podcast, the great podcast that they both of you do, the History of Rangers, Gordon didn't know the picture was there. So maybe you were drinking a strap of Pravin then.
I was Simon. I was too busy ensuring the guests had a wonderful night.
Well,
And you
It's on the back wall.
you can take that any way you like.
it's on the back wall beside the Hall of Fame anyway.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, no
Alan
problem.
Morton's a good shout as well. That could be Angus. That might be a good shout actually. Alan Morton, the wee blue devil. That's Alan Morton, obviously, no Angus.
So, aye guys, thanks very much, Stevie Gordon. We can sort you out for a table at dinner. Anybody else, please message the show. Guys, for £45, you're supporting the Gers TV. You're going to get, absolutely fantastic guests like Marvin and Jim Denny. You're going to get a meal up the marble staircase, trophy room. Honestly, if you see some of the adverts for some of the nights kicking about the place right now, £45 for a meal, all the guests, it's an absolute snap. So please get in touch and support the Gers TV. Okay. So back to the league. So it seems like
Seems like a long time ago.
yeah. So I know we actually came back. We actually played really well against Aberdeen after a shaky start. That has to be said, going a goal down, but. Again, we criticised Gio for his lack of passion. We criticised him for the Champions League, but he got the players going again, and we thoroughly deserved the win against Aberdeen.
It was a different style of play. It was like they've had that kick up the backside of the field, and getting that result just gave everything a boost. The only disappointing thing I would say was usually before the game you see the stadium's full dead early on. By like 20 to 3. It was still half empty, and I was worrying. It was just, you could tell there was something missing, and it was hard. It was hurtful to see, but then by kick off, it was full. I don't know whether there was something happened outside. I'm not sure, but
there was also a kind of feeling in there as well. You maybe experienced it with the pub the night before. When Rangers play at Ibrox, the Bristol Bar, the Loudon, Oswald's, the fans that come from all over the world are in the night before.
Yep.
And you can feel the buzz and anticipation, but a lot of people,
nobody seems to that bothered really
people
anymore.
are a wee bit of downer with it.
Yeah, I got the same feeling on Tuesday night as well. I didn't think there was the usual kind of Champions League or European atmosphere.
Tuesday was it was so different. Even the bar when it opened, usually it's bouncing, you've got everybody's buzzing, but it was nothing, and I was like, it just didn't feel the same at all.
Wait, the World Cup starts.
That'll be worse.
But anyway, back
to not according to your adverts, it won't be.
Back to the Rangers Aberdeen game. A wee comment. I should have mentioned this in the Champions League bit because it's the same comment I'm going to make. One of our biggest problems this season, we seem to lose a silly goal. Almost every big game now this season, the Celtic game at Parkhead, we seem to lose a silly goal in the first 10-15 minutes in important games. And if you do that, you've got the rest of the game. The opposition team can then change their tactics. Rangers can't play the flowing football that we're going to play, and it means you're chasing a game. Now, you can get away with that normally against Livingston, but we didn't. And you can get away with other teams in Scottish football. We got away with it against Aberdeen. You don't get away with that with teams like Ajax in the Champions League.
We're not even getting away with it against teams like Livingston because it took us until 8 or 9 minutes to score against Livingston, and then
it was terrible.
But they keep doing that, and that's something that, to me, Gordon, if you're losing a goal, different kind of goal every week, but you're losing a goal in the first 10-15 minutes in every game,
it's worrying.
That tells me that, first of all, it tells me that it's a concentration issue.
It doesn't help that your defence is changing every week because of injuries as well. There's no continuity, no consistency at the back. So, I think until we get guys like Goldson and I'm almost scared to say it, Hollander back, we're going to have that. We are going to lose goals.
Well, I think it's a major concern to me. Because one of the things that I think is causing us goals is that there's no playing to the whistle. See the game at Parkhead, you see Kent and I don't think it was Tavernier, both standing with their hand up looking for a throw-in, what they call it nowadays, a throw-in. They're looking for that. Well, they're looking for the throw-in. The Celtic players have ran up the park and scored.
Well, funny you mentioned that about...
These things are happening a lot.
Funny you mentioned that about throw-ins and, you know, I still call them shies as well, to be fair. I've noticed it on Tuesday night. It's when things are going fairly poorly, you start to notice little hints that you maybe don't notice before. And there was an example the other day where we had a throw-in, I think it was halfway inside the Ajax half, and we waited till everyone got up, then we threw the ball back.
That's right, aye.
I just don't understand that. Half the time we try to take a quick throw in and the ball boys throw the other ball on the park. The other half of the time we give the ball, you know, the other whatever time we give the ball straight back to the opposition. So I just don't know. I don't know what to do in training.
We spoke about this last week, and a few people spoke to me in the bars and that last week regarding my comment on the ball boys. I know it sounds like small-minded and petty, but you need to remember when Celtic boys play at home, their ball boys are like the Celtic Boys Club or whatever. They're part of the game plan. They must be part of the team talk. They know when to throw the ball, who to throw to. There's a bit of urgency. Rangers have got this thing where they want to employ. I need to watch how I say this because I don't want to get into trouble. But Rangers want to do all these things with the rainbow laces and tick the boxes for this, tick this, and hey, your dad's pregnant, all this woke generation. And they're employing kids basically that are ball boys that are just basically there because it ticks boxes. Well, Celtic are using kids as part of the game plan. Now, if you watch the game against Livingston, at 4 occasions the ball was thrown in the park twice. Two balls were thrown in the park because it's no what I would call almost professional ball boys. It's just kids that don't know the game. They don't understand the game plan.
I think, I'll need to kind of disagree a wee bit and say I know what you're saying, and I know it's a kind of small thing. I don't really think we can necessarily say that that's one of the big issues, but it's an annoying.
It's a small issue, but it's an issue.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But I think the whole way we take set pieces, whether it's throw-ins or goal kicks or attacking free kicks or set pieces, or as you say, side defending them.
Yeah.
You know, I believe it was when Gerrard was in charge. I think Tom Coulshaw was in charge of the set pieces, and you know, we scored a lot of goals. I remember, you know, we scored goals against Celtic. I mean, Big Katic scored a couple of headers. Golson scored headers.
We looked dangerous.
Hollander scored a header in the home game 1-0.
The other thing is, we'll see we're defending corners on the right. I don't know why. I know it's this Zono Martin. I'm totally against it. You might tell me it's a modern game. Zono Martin, in my opinion, when I watch it, Rangers don't put a man in it. For a corner, we don't put any men in the front post or the back post, and every man's in the box. There's nobody in the halfway line. So that means that if you knock the ball out, Ajax had 3 men waiting every time to knock the ball straight back in. But if you put a dangerous ball in, the goalkeeper's got to cover the front post and the back post, and we lose all our goals and set pieces from the front post normally.
Well, yeah, we had Tavernier marking Roberto Firmino at the Liverpool game a couple of weeks ago, which, you know, he scored for that.
Yeah, and Tav never jumped.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that, you know, at the very least, if you're not going to put your attackers forward for the set pieces, you put them on the goal line. And if your keeper's not coming for the ball, then I think you have to do zonal marking in that case. But you know, they need to stick to the area. They can't just look at the ball and chase the ball.
Who wants to give us a call? Our phone number is 0141. Can't see it. 3195230. Give us a wee call. It won't cost you a penny, and it'd be good to get your thoughts, because you might not agree with everything that we're saying, but we'd love to hear what you've got to say. 2 great comments coming in here.
So John Michael Hill, we're missing Rangers men like Jimmy Bell around the dressing room at Ibrox. I don't know how we've been so bad this year, but lack of fitness is worrying. Unfortunately, I don't think Gio is a manager to take us forward.
That's John that runs the pub.
That's John from Fortentura.
Aye, give me a wee shout out, because you do the pubs.
Hi John from
Flower of Scotland.
Yep. Hope you're enjoying the sun. Well, we're not. We're enjoying the cold here.
We're hoping to do, after we finish off in Melbourne, we're hoping to fly to your pub, John, and do a broadcast for them as
John's
well.
in the Flower of Scotland.
I'll come and do a few shifts for you if you want.
I'm trying to pronounce it again. Cali de Fil. I can't even pronounce it again. I stayed there a wee while.
Well done, Si.
I'm terrible at remembering names of places, but it's the Flower of Scotland bar. It's a Rangers bar.
And
Fortentura, guys, if you're going on holiday, look it up and you'll get to see all the games.
Recommend go and visit John.
Yeah, we've been losing certainly goal specialists just before a half time when Golston's been happening for 4 years. It's ludicrous. But then we get Golson injured, and we really miss Golson. So There you go.
Coletta de Fuste, that's it.
Well done.
I forgot de
Yeah.
Fuste.
I'm not even going to try that.
Somebody's 18.
Yeah,
Alright,
but-
right, so as I meant to read this one, Don McLean, I love your song. Long time ago. I still
Oh my
can't
God.
remember how the music used to go.
That's not even
Taking
the
my
words.
boy over to I'm assuming Ibrox. Take my boy over in March next year to celebrate his 18th birthday at Ibrox. Hopefully something like that is going on then. Don, let us know where you're from. I've no idea where you're from, mate.
And also, he's bring him into Oswald's bar, and he can have his first legal pint.
There we go, eh?
There you go, and he'll get
What a place to go.
Spend it in no better place before he goes to Ibrox.
You'll be well looked after. So give us a wee chow before you're coming over
And
in
if,
March.
If Mark Donnett's finished in the pub, you can have a go at that as well.
Aye, brilliant. Yeah, the boy's not even 18 yet. We're trying to get him for the swallow and everything.
I know. Need it these days.
3 pint for your first one.
And
why
John just gave us a Cali de Fuste. LOL.
Cali-
That's Loyal Lodge,
Caletti-
I laugh out loud.
I think it's, I think it's laughter, but I could be wrong. It is the Gers TV, so I could be wrong. I'm not
Who
sure.
wants to give us a wee call? It's 0141 319 5230, and it was a free call if you want to give us a wee call. It'd be good to hear from someone tonight.
Yeah, we will finish up probably about 10 minutes or so, okay? But if you want to give
Yeah.
us a call before then, please do. Andrew Barkley is saying that he's used to see Stephen Davis clear corners off the line alone. Zonal marking for me is a massive no-no.
I just don't like it. I don't see the appeal to Zono Martin.
I think that, you know, for me, if it's a manager that's got the idea and it's trained properly and it works, then it works. But you've got if you're given a zone to mark, then you need to stay in that zone. But what happens if the other players drift out of it, then it becomes man marking by default. So I would just go with man marking.
Yeah. Right, so let's change the subject to the game on Sunday. We're playing
Let's
St
just quickly
Johnson.
say hi to Jan
And
from
who?
Hamburg. Hi Jan, nice to see you're watching Gers TV.
Where are you pointing?
Jan,
Oh, I couldn't see that.
See you next week.
We've got a call
when you're
coming
coming
in.
over. We look forward to welcoming you to our night at Ibrox.
Yep. We might Chelsea, we might come and say hi as well. We have got a call coming through with the number that ends in 058, but we don't have that number saved. So if
I'll
it's
check.
if it's yourself, if whoever it is, please on the comments box on the Facebook page
I
there,
know who that may be.
if you just type in your last 3 numbers, so we can match up the user with the phone number, we'll certainly be delighted to take your call.
I'm just checking out. I know who it might be. 'Cause somebody told me about
Yeah,
the
he's
phone. And
coming to the night straight for the airport
Aye, when's Jan coming?
next Friday.
Oh, is he coming next Friday?
whereabouts is he from in
Okay.
Germany?
Hamburg.
Hamburg, excellent. Jan, are you bringing? It's JFK. Thought he got shot, but never mind. I could be wrong. JFK, you can tell us who done it. I've been waiting 60 years to
that's
find
all right.
out.
It's JFK from the Rangers radio, I believe. You
All
want to
right.
give us a wee call back, mate?
Yeah,
Sorry.
call us back. And Jan, coming for Hamburg, please bring your friends over to our night next Friday. We'll be delighted to welcome you.
Remember, you're already sorted with your table.
Good.
There you go. Is that you bringing people in for German and everything?
What?
Aye, JFK, if you can give us a wee call back. Sorry, mate, I didn't realise it yourself. He's one of the guys involved with the Rangers radio. setup,
Brilliant.
I think.
Okay, it'd be great to hear from
I
you.
think anyway, I'm just. I think
Yeah, no, he's let us know who it is. So
Right,
058, that was the definite number. So
I will
give
see if I
us a
can
call back,
Let me
please.
see if I can call it right. It might be able to do it.
So what are we thinking for the weekend?
Good question. Shall we? I think that so Johnson just off the back of beating Kilmarnock, but so their confidence might be a little bit higher than usual. But I still think we should go there and win 2 or 3-0. I don't care how badly we're playing or how poor the motivation is. When you put Rangers players against St Johnstone players, we should be winning 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, we really need to get goals in this weekend. It's
Yeah, I think that if the games we've been now in the World Cup are all winnable, and I think if we do win them, then Gio keeps his job. The fans are a little bit happier, and we'll probably only be 2 or 3 points behind in the league.
This is back from being on there.
Sorry, this person can't answer at the moment.
So I think he's trying to call us and you're trying to call him at the same time. I was just missing him just to give us a wee call back.
Yep.
Oh, no.
So let us know your predictions for the game against St Johnstone on Sunday. I was saying on Tuesday night, everyone it's Saturday, so shows you how much I know.
Yeah,
But
listen.
I did say
Today
don't
was
quote
Friday,
us.
so it's
Yeah.
alright.
And if you're not going to the game, please you pop into pubs. I don't know. Do you know any nice pubs you want that might be showing the game?
I am not sure. I might have a day off. Just kidding. Don't know what that is these days.
Aye.
Yeah, everyone's welcome to come and tell us what's open
Brilliant.
from.
Right, I want to give my
11.
opinion on the game on Sunday, right? And
Please
the
do.
season ahead, right? And let me know, guys, if you agree with us or disagree. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I think we spoke about this for months that Rangers couldn't do the two up front 4-4-2 because of European football, and it'd be changing the team, and it wouldn't be possible to do it in Europe because we might get humped, which we got humped anyway.
Well, aye.
I think
Didn't really dodge that bullet.
From Sunday, I would probably say that
He
for
needs
the
to
manager
try.
to keep his job, I would take a massive gamble and go for the next 3 games that we've got before the break. And go
100%.
4-4-2. They're all winnable games, very winnable, and I
Yep.
don't think he's got anything to lose, and it would get Morelos match fit.
Yeah.
100%, and it could turn everything around for
Yeah,
us. So.
even if you play Morelos a little bit behind Kovac, Morelos is good at holding up the ball,
Yeah.
but he's still got a shot on him, and he's still be a good striker. I think even if you want to play the two strikers, and even if you play Morelos just a little bit behind Kovac, then you're absolutely right, side Joanne. It can't go.
Doesn't have enough credit to make.
Oh, I can't.
I need to phone it.
So,
I disagree. Like,
yeah.
we need to win. We need to really do this.
As Davy Stewart saying, a tight 1-0 Rangers. Do you know?
Too many injuries.
Yeah, I see. To be honest, I see as long as we win, I just don't care. I don't care if we play amazing and draw, and hit the post 4 times. Then I'd rather play crap and win 1-0 with a last minute penalty.
Yeah.
On that note, actually, we got a penalty against Aberdeen with a VAR decision after the referee said no to it.
Yeah.
But everyone, because of the way the media portrays Rangers and penalties, everyone assumes that we get penalties that we shouldn't get. Whereas when it comes to the actual reality of VAR, that's all the way about. I forgot to mention that. I
There
thought.
was also a start that we should talk about for a wee minute. Now, I should have looked this up, but we were running late. Joanne was the only one here in time. Rangers are getting this record about being the worst team in the Champions League history, and we take that in the chin and we accept it. But the actual coefficients, did anybody see the comment that was put?
Yeah, we've
Rangers are the highest in Scotland.
because we've beat PSV. They obviously we lost a poor game against the Belgian team, but I struggled to pronounce, so we'll just say USG. Obviously a poor start, but then we turned it around at Ibrox and won 3-0. Then we played a very good PSV team, and we drew at Ibrox and we went to Eindhoven and won the game. So it wasn't a disaster to that point. So we've got a couple of wins at Europe this season.
We've contributed the most points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Lowry should get a start?
Stephen McCormack's asking, Joanne, if you think Lowry, what do you think?
I don't see why he shouldn't. I think he's just back from an injury right enough, so you don't want to put him out too soon either, but he needs to start getting some game time.
That's
to
the
prove.
worry, that you don't want to get injured again. But
Yeah.
I agree with Joanne. What I would be saying, right, and again, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this. I would be, if we can, right, and maybe no right away, but in the next couple of months, I'd be basing our whole midfield around Lowry and Tillman. 2 young boys with plenty of talent that can find space in the box, can find a pass, and if you get the right man, i.e. John Lundstrom beside him in the middle there, doing all the hard work, I think Lowry would shine in Rangers, and I think he'd play great with.
Yeah.
The boy Tillman would benefit with him, somebody that could play a similar game.
Yeah.
Well, if you youngsters like Tillman and Lowry, as you're saying, Si, then someone like Stephen Davis would be ideal as well, because he's got that experience. But he knows where to sit. Well,
Yeah.
he'll let the other two do the running, but he'll know where to sit, so
Yeah.
he can pick up the ball or he can spray the passes
And
out.
it answers the question I said earlier on about having the midfield, with pace in the midfield, 2 young boys.
Yeah. But Gio's not a gambler. Andrew Barkley's asking, how many times do we see teams with 2 up top and the second try gets a rebound? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
right now, never mind that. We're not taking a lot of shots in goal, unfortunately. So we don't get any rebounds anyway. But it's an absolute great point. David Hurd's saying that we won't play 2 up front. He hasn't done it at home. So yeah, if he doesn't do it at home, then he
Aye,
won't
sorry
play
David,
it
the point I'm
away.
making is I would
Yeah.
make the gamble from now. I would make the gamble from Sunday onwards, because I generally think he's a dead man walking on his position. Mark Bartley's made a good point. Davis isn't good enough to play anymore. Just to answer that, I think God means it like as a bit part player. I don't think it means every week. But you've
Yeah.
got
Or a
Mark
full 90
Lawrence.
minutes.
Yeah,
When the
exactly,
boy
yeah.
Lawrence comes back in, he would fit right into that position.
Yeah. If you're playing Davis is a great player. Was a great
It's a
player.
great role for the
Yeah, a
for
great
the
role
young
model.
ones.
He has got a lot of experience, and he once you start getting a bit older, you know, look at Davy Weir for example. Okay, he was playing right until he's 40 as well. Okay?
We all dream of a team of Davy Weirs.
Playing
My wife, she thought it was queer.
playing central defence, right? Now, what he lacked in pace, he made up for positional and
Yeah.
experience. Same with Davis, but only if he's got the right players around him. Okay, so you're absolutely right. I wouldn't play him at home I wouldn't play him away at Parkhead, for example, because you want that energy and vibrancy. But
Bring him on the last 10 minutes.
if we're 1-0 up or 2-0 up with a couple of 10-15 minutes to go, then you want somebody in there with experience that can settle the rest of the players down and use his experience and his positional know-how.
Back to what I was saying, I think the boy Lawrence, when we lost him a bad time of the season because he was shooting outside the box. We're commenting about no shooting outside the box.
He was the one who was, and we've not got him.
You could argue Gio has got one thing. You could argue his defence he has been really unlucky with injuries. Why we're getting injuries is a different argument, but Lawrence certainly, we are a midfielder, Lundstrom, who I like a lot of people are saying should be told, but Lundstrom, Lowry, Tillman and the boy Lawrence, I think that would be quite progressive.
I actually think we've still got a good midfield. Well, we're not playing great. Andrew Barkley, I know what you're saying, mate, and I said, you know, you meant other teams that play. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If you look at the stats, teams that play two up front, you know, one striker shoots a lot and picks up the rebound, for example. The point I was just making was that right now Rangers aren't, you know, shooting, let alone playing two up front. So we're not getting rebounds off any shots. But you're absolutely right. Teams that play, you know, with two, sometimes even three up front, then, you know, you're absolutely right.
David Stewart said play McCann soon or we'll lose him. I agree.
Again, he's a big name. The problem I think you've got is he can't play too many young.
He won't want to. He won't want to have the team based on young players.
McCann's definitely one for the future. He was a big signing for us. And another name we'll throw in there is a boy. I always think he's a porn star. This yes, Zach Lovelace. I always think of Linda. He's a bit too young to remember Linda. Anyway, Zach Lovelace. The rumours that are going about is all the big teams in England are now sniffing about him. He was a steal from Millwall and he's setting the house on fire with the Rangers B team. But you need to give the boy a chance because there's no point in having a B team if you're never going to get a chance to play in the first team.
But the issue right now is if the players around them aren't playing well, then do you throw in a couple of youngsters and just hope that they'll swim rather than sink? I think that, you know, it's a gamble. Do you go with the tried and tested? Okay, we aren't playing.
Well, to answer your question, you play him in the cup game. You play him as a sub in the cup game. Because the cup game coming up, we should be doing, and we don't do this. Celtic do it a lot. Kill teams off, get an early goal, get a second goal, kill them off, and then bring on the players that you want to experiment
without going back,
for example, bring the young ones on then.
Yeah, without going back to the management style, whatever. I think Rangers' issue has been that we score one, and then we basically say right, we're not going to score until you guys score against us.
And that's the manager.
Yeah, now I noticed that last season when we went on that run last season, and you know, I think in January we lost and drew 4 away games in a row. The Ross County game stuck out for me is because, you know, I think it ended up 4 each. Every time we scored, we sat back until Ross County scored.
Yeah.
Rather than, as you say, going for the kill.
There's the team. See when we had the Beale Gerrard management, we seem to kill teams off a wee bit more. I think with more an attack-minded philosophy.
Just something missing.
Yeah. You're right, Joanne. There's just. I just think there's that spark. There's that.
Yeah.
There's just
the back. Obviously, Michael Beale was a big part of Gerrard, but you don't seem to hear anything.
Yeah, well, you had Gary McAllister, the guy Tom Coulshaw was a good coach as well, and Michael Beale and Gerrard. So you had 4, and they were all friends. They all worked with each other before. They all knew each other, and it was obviously great chemistry. I just think right now that Rangers have knitted together a backroom team. For random, like we brought in a coach a few weeks ago, Seri something or other. I'm sorry if you're. I don't think you are watching, but if you are, sorry. I apologise for not.
I'm waiting for you to decide.
But I apologise, but he was a Man City coach like a few years ago and whatnot. But you know, it was just appointed a few weeks ago, and you think to yourself, well, if I was Gio, why not bring in a backroom staff? You know, a year ago, 6 months ago, and then the guys we do bring in. Like the Dutch scout,
You're not hearing anything really much from them.
The guy we brought in for the Dutch, you know, for the Dutch league, for the scouting, we've not utilised him. We haven't brought any Dutch players.
None at all. I would, if I had my way, and I obviously don't have my way, I would be looking at Rangers getting a defensive coach in, right? Somebody whose only job is to make sure their defence are hard to score a goal against. as well as that, you're looking at the fact that who's doing the set pieces as well. That the set pieces are not being worked on, so that's the two main things I would be looking at.
Yeah.
But
I think
I
you're
wonder
right.
I wonder what we're doing when we're coaching that.
I think you're right. I think last season under Gerrard, the background team, I think you had Tom Coulshaw working at defence and set pieces. You had Michael Beale just working on tactics and maybe the attacking side of things. You had Gary McAllister there he was a great technical player, so you had him and Gerrard for the technical side of the game, and you had Gerrard who was not the loudest guy in the world, but I think he was quite motivational as well.
Yeah.
Like he didn't maybe not come in. Yeah, and so you had. I think back then you'd everyone knew their role at Ibrox.
Yeah, and there was two people for each position.
Yeah.
Which is something I've spoken about a few times. There's no people playing for their place. There's a lot of favourites in the team. I mean, I still believe Kent's a good player. People will say he's chucked it right, but if you've not got anybody fighting for that position, he's not getting any. There's nothing to worry about.
No, he knows he's going to get played.
David Hale's saying he was at Man City for a while. Maybe he worked with the new coach then. I think this coach, and I feel really bad because I can't pronounce I can't remember his second name, but his first name is Seri, I think, Ceri. But I think he's relatively young, this coach. So I think he's like late 20s, early 30s. And Gio's been a manager for the last 7 or 8 years, so you will know more than me about it because you've got more knowledge than me about football, about Rangers, etc. So I make no apologies for that.
We're going to finish up in a few minutes. Just last chance if anyone wants to phone 01413195230.
John Turnbull's asking what is Roy Mackay doing. Roy Mackay is telling our attacking players not to do tricks or show any flair.
Well, the thing is, Roy Mackay's Gordon's right we've seen it. Roy Mackay made a big impression because he done that comment, and we thought he's going to change the way we play. But it has changed the way we play. We're even less attacking.
Yeah, and Roy Mackay was a great attacker. He played for Bayern Munich. He played for Bayern Munich for years. He played in Spain for you. I'm sure he played. I don't know if he played for Barcelona or Real Madrid in Spain, but I'm sure he played in Spain for a while. But he was an absolute legend at Bayern Munich. He scored a ton of goals for them, and he was one of the best. Probably not as famous as obviously Benzema or Pele.
He was one of the best.
But
here's the point, Gordon.
But he was a Dutch. He was a Dutch internationalist, and he played for Bayern Munich up front. So
here's the point, right? So since he's came in, has he made Morelos a better striker, or has Morelos' performances declined because the two goals, scoring chances he's had in the last week
declined.
Tell me that Morelos isn't a better player under this great coach that we thought we had.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So we are going to finish in a few minutes, guys. There's JFK. Okay. We can answer that now. Oh, the excitement.
Hello.
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 Hi mate, how you doing? Sorry, my earlier on.
Alright, so JFK here, but formerly JFK. How you doing for your Rangers Radio?
Hi mate, how you doing?
Good mate.
Hi.
I'm alright, sorry, I'm alright. I'm just listening to your show the last few nights that.
Thank you.
I'm a frustrated Rangers fan like yourself, so I've been going to see the Rangers since 1966. And the debacle of the worst European record of any Rangers team, probably any European team for a long time.
Yeah.
I heard you say earlier on, mate, about Gio. Gio was never for me in the first place, mate.
Why not?
A great player that he was. I just don't think he's got it tactically. So I don't think he's got it. The players look lost at times. He looks lost as well, what is he doing on the side of the park? He doesn't look as if he can motivate the players.
Yeah.
Motivating players round about you when you're on the park is different from being on the side of the park.
True.
I think that's shown with you.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's sad as to say that the Rangers great that it was for us, but I think it's I'll give him the end of this season, mate, and after that, if they don't win something substantial, when I mean substantial, it's got to be the league for me.
Well, just a quick question on what you're saying there, because I agree with you 100%. If Gio hadn't played for Rangers and he wasn't one of Rangers' better players in the last 20 years, would they get the same time frame that he's got now?
Probably not.
No.
I agree. That's what I think.
I would say no. He's only there. The reason being because he did play for us and he won honours race.
So that's sentiment. That's
I don't
sentiment.
think if he'd have been an ex-Rangers player, he would have still been there.
Sentiment shouldn't belong in football at a club like Rangers anyway.
Well, definitely, mate. It's been proved in the past. Being a good player doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a good manager. There's a lot of guys fell in their sword over the years, not just at Rangers, at a lot of clubs.
Yeah.
And Gio's just proved that at Ibrox. It's sad to, watching the Rangers at home. The game against Aberdeen, I'm going to put the boot in here. I don't think Rangers were great against Aberdeen, mate. I thought Aberdeen were very poor, and the Raiders looked good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's my opinion, and I know that's an opinion a lot of blue noses that sit round about me.
Yeah.
It was great to get a victory like that, but for me, I thought Aberdeen were very, very poor, and they made us look a better team. And going forward, we'll probably will struggle against St Johnstone on Sunday. I hope I made keep my words there, because don't go to see the Rangers to get beat or drawn, but at the moment it's hurting now, mate.
Who would you bring into the team on Sunday then? Would you make any changes? Who would you change?
Well, a lot of people talk about me. I don't know where the old boy Lowry is in his fitness stand, but bringing Lowry and Tillman's easy to get throw a stick at all the time. I like him, but the surprise for me is that he's not getting a run of games. The boy, right? I don't know why he's not getting a game.
He's getting the.
I think he's a cracking player.
It's strange because on the right hand side you're getting a couple of players that are getting the odd game, but they're not getting a chance to cement the position. In my opinion,
I would give you the argument. In my opinion, he's not one of the favourites. If you're a favourite, you're guaranteed a place. Would you?
It looks that way, Si. It does look that way. And it's unfortunate that we don't have anybody to fit in for Tav, because Tav's playing like a Clydesdale horse now. He's played very, very poor.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of the championship down south, sign up, and I for the life of me, I don't know why they got rid of Balogun. I know that we had that with a plethora of centre backs at the time, but I mean he's playing at his skin down there. I know that he beat 2-0 last week by Birmingham, but he still commands that back four. So there's something for me, right? I think listening to yourselves and the people that phone in and write in and that, we're not happy. I think we're all in the same boat here, that we're thinking that there's something all right behind the scenes.
But do you know what's strange?
Do you blame the board for that?
I think Ross Wilson, the board, the management team as a whole. For me, I think there's something wrong, but for the life of me, I just can't put my finger on exactly what.
Well, the serious thing is, Dougie Park's the leader of the ship, right? I've not seen Dougie Park heard fair than anything coming out and speak to the fans, but he's got to do it to this EGM, and if the fans don't get answers, and the performances are the way they've been in the last couple of months, you'll not be far off people outside the door protesting.
See, when I get to the EGM and Gio's still there, Si, I would like to ask him one question. And the one question would be, who picks the players to play for Rangers?
Yeah.
I.e. Aaron Ramsey. A £2 million loan fee.
Yeah.
And allegedly we were paying a quarter of his wages, which seemingly was only 80,000 a week.
Oh, it'd be a lot of money, aye.
So who you're not going to tell me. I mean, Aaron Ramsey had a fantastic season for Arsenal 7 years ago, and that got him his big move. He's a rubbish player, mate. He always will be, and he always no. So who sanctioned that deal for me?
Well, the thing
was
is,
it Ross Wilson or was it Gio? If it was Gio, then Gio must go.
Well, the thing about
if it was Ross Wilson, then Ross Wilson must go.
No, I agree with you there, right? But to answer that right away, Gio hardly played him. That tells me that Gio didn't sanction it.
Right, well, okay. So then Ross Wilson must go.
Aye.
And that means then that Gio's been bullied then. We could all say that Ramsey cost us the Europa League final, but he didn't. We know he missed a penalty. What cost us it was a Ryan Kane.
The miss, yeah, exactly. With 2 or 3 minutes to go for a couple of feet, you're absolutely right, mate. I couldn't agree more with that.
The final.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that point. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Aye. But would you agree
with me? It's exasperating when you're watching the Rangers.
Would you agree maybe on the fitness levels though?
You go back a long way, you want to see them the same as me. I'm totally frustrated watching them. I'm a 95-minute watcher, mate. I'm not one of these guys that go for the subway at quarter an hour of the game they go. I stay there right at the end. I've never booed Rangers in my life, and I'm not near to doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm allowed to criticise them, and I think every Rangers fan should criticise what's happening at Ibrox now.
I agree.
I think there's something
behind.
Just one question. I made a comment earlier, and I'm really concerned about the fitness levels at the club. Do you agree with that, or do you think they're kind of wrong?
Yeah. Ali McCoy should picked up that in a few times. You don't see it so much on the TV, right? But when you're sitting at Ibrox, where we are, You do see the levels of fitness are poor. Alan McCoy's been making big things about the amount of kilometres each player's running
That's right.
per game,
Yeah.
and it's staggering. You know, there is a fitness level problem there, and that never was the last few seasons. So we looked a fit team, especially last
Yeah.
season when we ran out of Tapa. So look at the teams that are still in the Champions League last 16. In the last 7-8 years, we beat 6 of them.
Great point, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the easy example is, you know, Leipzig and Dortmund, but you're right, going back, there's a few teams that we've beat as well in the previous years, yeah.
The crazy thing is PSV beat Arsenal. A couple of weeks
Sorry,
ago.
mate?
PSV beat Arsenal a few weeks ago.
Aye.
Yeah, we can, mate. I personally don't think that we're as bad as Gio's making out in Europe. I think he's just making excuses for
Yeah.
being a bit not being the best tactically. But I really think we should, especially against Ajax, we should have looked to win these games against Ajax, at least at Ibrox.
Yeah.
God, I heard your comments earlier on about the money, and I think maybe you're exaggerating a wee bit about 90 to 100 million. But I think it is near the 60 million mark that shall we say, how can it be accounted for?
Yeah.
You know, we know that, and I agree with Si, you know, there'll be bonus money, things like that, paid for getting to the Europa League. But also some of the players, non-triers, who are getting massive wages at Ibrox. But we didn't bring any decent players in the summer window. And that's been my big downfall. I think we were trying to rest on the laurels that we were finalists in the Europa League, and we'll just stay with that. And we still learned a lesson for them across the water, you know, across the road. But they tried to do that, thinking they were the best.
That's right.
We should have spent money, we should have spent big and kept the train running, but we didn't. We come up against the buffers and look what's happened to us.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 90 million is a bit much. I do genuinely think I think it's at least, I would say it's at least 80 million, but I'll go back and look at some sums. But you know, whatever it is, you know, whether it's 60, 80, whatever it is, I think there's more money than they're letting on.
But the whole thing is, just to finish the call off, all the fans, in my opinion, all the fans want is one thing: transparency. Tell us how much came in.
Yeah.
If somebody needed their money back,
Where
see
did it
if
go?
Boogie Park wants
Yeah.
their money back, that's fine, tell us.
Just tell us, yeah.
Be honest and truthful with the fans who
What
back
I can
them.
say to all the Rangers fans that know that listen to Gers TV and watch it all over the world, don't believe all the hype rubbish that's coming through the media about Rangers fans will walk away and no renew their season ticket. No, it's a Rangers till I die syndrome for me.
Yeah.
Once a blue nose, always a blue nose. And unfortunately, I've lived through the 9 in a row that they won, but we did their 9 in a row. It's good and bad in football side.
Correct.
We've got to take the good
100%.
and the bad together. But at this moment, I'm hurting the same as you guys.
100%. Just before you go, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
We try and promote all the different Rangers channels and platforms out there. Do you want to give Rangers Radio a quick shout out?
Sorry, mate, would you say that?
Do you want to give a wee shout out to the Rangers Radio and let people know what you guys do as well, just whilst you're on?
I don't do Rangers Radio anywhere, mate.
Oh, you don't? I think you're still part of it.
No, there's a wee bit artistic difference in there, so...
Oh, my apologies.
I'm just going to be
Okay.
one of your regular callers for the road.
No, that's fair
listen,
enough.
That's fine. That's fine.
Not a problem. But listen, it was a great call.
Yeah, great call. Thanks very much.
I think we agree with...
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to agree with each other with these things because you just wish it would all go away, but you have to face reality.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Right, guys, thanks for taking my call.
No.
Thank you so again.
Thanks for
Thank
phoning.
you.
Great call. Brilliant.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Now, before we finish up, right, we need to know the answer to the question.
Yeah,
So Andrew, Bartley asked the question,
Yeah.
who was the fifth name
Yes.
on the Rangers Hall of Fame?
It's going to be somebody like Kerry Miller or something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Give us the answer,
Andrew Bartley, give us the answer, please.
We're all intrigued.
Yes.
I went, remember before anybody jumps in, I went for
So Simon copied.
Valance.
Simon copied David Herd and said Valance. Joanne, what was your guess?
What did I say? Billy Waddle.
Willie Waddle.
Andrew's made a good point here quickly about getting back to the Dunes. Andrew,
Oh.
we're going to have an announcement about that in a couple of weeks' time that you'll quite like. There you go, I got it. Tom
Oh.
Valance,
Well
honest
done.
Tom Valance.
You
the
knew
first
that,
captain.
Si.
Well done, honest Tom. Thanks very much, Andrew. Great question. And if you come to the dinner next Friday, you can have your picture taken beside him. So remember, guys, Gers TV 150th anniversary dinner. And if you want your picture taken up the marble staircase with the Gallant Pioneers and Tom Valance, you want a trip down to the pitch side to get your picture taken in the dugout, or you want a tour of the trophy room. If you want a nice meal, couple of drinks with the Gers TV, and you want to see all the special guests like Joanne from Oswald's.
Or if you just want to get a bevy
Aye.
at the Brook Stadium
Mar-
for €7.
Yeah, Marvin Andrews, iconic figure. Marvin Andrews was part of the Helicopter Sunday team.
That's right. I
Yeah,
believe
so
it
he,
was.
yeah,
See
so
what I done
there you go. So he will tell us all about that. We've also got a great friend of the show, David Hurd. We've got Tom Purdy, and we've got Jim Denny, who went to Barcelona in the Winners' Cup final as well. So
It's been a privilege, guys. It's been a good show. Thank you very much for watching us. Shout out to our sponsors, Maxwell.
Yep.
At the heart of it, all over Northern Ireland for your petrol needs.
thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
And never forget, we are the people.
Good night.